Steve Cohen does it again. Steve Cohen does it again and has continued to make himself, show himself, prove himself that he is better than the Wilpons will ever be. In the first week of officially owning the New York Mets, it feels like Steve Cohen has done more for the New York Mets franchise and honestly for Major League Baseball than the Wilpons did in their 20 some odd years of owning the New York Mets organization, and I absolutely love it. Oh yeah, and the Mets re-signed Marcus Stroman. He took the qualifying offer, 1 year, $18.9 million. Marcus Stroman is coming back to the New York Mets for the 2021 season. Robbie Ray signed with the Toronto Blue Jays. Tony La Russa got a DUI. There are a lot of different things to go over in today's video, but as you know, during the off season, all the moves, all the news, this is the place for you. So if you do enjoy this kind of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that sub button, drop a like on the video if you do enjoy it, get in the comment section down below, let me know what you think about the Stroman re-signing, Steve Cohen, Robbie Ray, Tony La Russa, anything that I cover in today's video, and drop me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and the second channel links are always in the description below. Now, I know, the first thing you guys want to talk about, where is the free agent prediction video? It's coming. I just didn't realize how much work this was. I forget every year how much time and effort needs to go into it. I gotta make all the cards, make the predictions, make the video. It's coming, I promise. It's still a video I am making. That being said, there have been a couple names that have been signed that will no longer be featured in that video, Robbie Ray and Marcus Stroman. And those are the topics of today's video. So of course, let's talk about the one that I clearly care the most about, Marcus Stroman re-signing with the New York Mets. Now, if you look back to October, the end of October, maybe even Halloween, I tweeted out about Marcus Stroman in the qualifying offer. Basically along the lines of that, Marcus Stroman is a guy who bets on himself. He didn't pitch in the 2020 season, had an injury, and for a guy who always bets on himself in a market that looks like it's going to be very slow, I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Stroman took the qualifying offer, because if he pitches really well, he is going to get paid in the next season. If he pitches poorly, of course, that's a different story, but there doesn't seem to be a reason why Marcus Stroman would pitch poorly. He is a good pitcher, he has some good stuff, and whenever he seems to be motivated and confident, he really comes out and shoves. And that's exactly what happened. Marcus Stroman took the qualifying offer from the New York Mets. 1 year, $18.9 million, I believe it comes out to, which is a nice chunk of change. Honestly, on the market, Stroman probably gets about 20 million, 23, 24, maybe at his absolute best. You see what Wheeler got. I can't see him getting much more than that, but still, that's a lot of money, and he is a good pitcher, and he will be worth it. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's overrated, he's not worth the money. Here's the thing. One, it is very hard to find pitching that isn't going to cost you a lot of money and actually make an impact. There's kind of like 2 tiers of pitching right now, or I should even say 3. There's the elite, where you get the Garrett Cole, $30+ million a year. Then you've got the next tier of like Stroman, Wheeler, those kind of guys, even probably Kevin Gausman, who are going to be in that $15 to $25 million range a year. And then you have everybody else, where the everyone else category, yeah, you might be able to get 1 or 2 years out of this guy and they can have some decent production towards the back end of your rotation, but you are not really getting the difference maker between your team being a playoff contender and a World Series champion. When you want the good pitchers, you're going to have to spend about $15 to $25 million at minimum to improve your team to make that much of an impact. But when you're talking about making a winning team, building a championship caliber roster, you're not going to fill your team with guys made up of $5 and $10 million contracts like that. Instead, you're going to have to go pay those guys money. I mean, even a team like the Tampa Bay Rays spent about $15 million on Charlie Morton a year. For you to get quality pitching, you need to spend money. And for the Mets, with the market that's available, the $18.9 million one, of course, you had to give Stroman a qualifying offer, because if he did sign somewhere else, you needed to get something back from him, and that would be a draft pick. But also for 1 year, it doesn't matter. And with Steve Cohen in, the money doesn't matter. I mean, the guy in his press conference the other day said, I am not here to make money, I am here to build championship teams, and this is how you help do that. Now, the Mets are still far away from being a championship team. I know, the past 2 years, I've said they're going to win the World Series. Kind of my little fun running joke here. But grabbing Marcus Stroman is going to help hopefully shape that team that can at least compete for the playoffs next year and hopefully a World Series championship. Right now in the rotation, you've got Jake DeGrom and Stroman that are the guarantees. Maybe Seth Lugo still in there. Steven Matz is a big question mark. David Peterson's going to be there. He showed us some nice stuff towards the end of the year. He looks like he's going to be a nice little lefty in our rotation. So in all honesty, for 2021 right now, we have about 3 starting pitchers: DeGrom, Stroman, and Peterson. They're not done there. I think Stroman's a great guy to grab. He's a really solid number 2, and when Syndergaard does come back, and maybe if we sign a guy like Bauer or Morton, could be a really good number 3. Overall, though, with the Marcus Stroman signing, I'm very happy that he ended up taking the qualifying offer. It seemed like a no-brainer from both sides. Marcus Stroman, of course, if he comes out and shoves this year, he's going to get a lot more money in 2021, and what seems like is going to be a very very slow, and a very cheap offseason market. And the Mets get a really good pitcher who's going to help them in 2021 compete for the playoffs and hopefully a World Series championship. Steve Cohen has changed the mentality. He's changed the culture of the New York Mets. And as a Mets fan, I love it. Just the fact that we are in conversations with some of the top players. Players seem like they want to come here. Marcus Stroman talked about how grateful he is, how happy he is to be coming to the New York Mets. Steve Cohen thanked him. Steve Cohen thanked Marcus Stroman for accepting basically $19 million. Steve Cohen pays him, and he thanked him for taking that money. As if that's our owner. The Wilpons did nothing. Nobody liked the Wilpons. Steve Cohen just thanked the guy for taking $19 million out of his pocket. You gotta love Steve Cohen. You gotta love the direction the Mets are going. It's looking so positive. I'm so excited as a Mets fan. It's one of the few times in my life that I've really actually been excited about being a Mets fan, because it feels like the culture's changing. Marcus Stroman's hopefully going to be a part of it, and Steve Cohen is going to hopefully go get a few more pieces. I'm talking JT Realmuto, Trevor Bauer, George Springer, whoever it is. Let's go get our guys and let's go compete in 2021. All signs are showing like the Mets are going to at least try to do that, which is something we haven't been able to say in a very long time. So Stroman's back to the Mets. I'm happy. I like the move. It was a good decision by Stroman and a good decision by the New York Mets to bring him back. The other free agent signing that's worth talking about that we saw last week was Robbie Ray signing with the Toronto Blue Jays. They signed him to a 1-year, $8 million contract, which is very, very fair. Now, of course, you could be making the argument, oh, you got Stroman for this much. How come you don't get Robbie Ray for that? One, I don't think they really had an option with Robbie Ray. He signed with the Blue Jays pretty quickly. And also, while Robbie Ray does probably have that higher ceiling at the absolute extreme, like he has that crazy strikeout stuff, a lot of swing and miss type pitches, he didn't perform very well last year and has been a little sketchy in his career in the past. So, I mean, $8 million for the Toronto Blue Jays, first off, I think it's a good signing. I want to say that first and foremost. $8 million for a season of Robbie Ray, who can be a really high caliber pitcher in baseball, is a no-brainer. If you can make that deal, you go and do it. That's a really good deal for the Blue Jays. And Robbie Ray, who I said again is coming off a bad season, it makes sense that he would take a little bit of, I don't want to say a pay cut, but lesser than what you thought he would get because he just didn't perform well. Now, that being said, with Robbie Ray, in 2020 started off rough with Arizona, but finished the season a little stronger with Toronto, a 4.79 ERA in 20 2/3 innings. What you gotta like to see is the 10.9 Ks per nine. He does strike out a lot of guys, 11.8 on the season, but the walks were shockingly bad and the home runs were shockingly bad. 7.8 walks per nine and 2.3 home runs per nine. He did get them down in Toronto though, which is a positive sign. And like I said, as we've seen with Robbie Ray in the past, high strikeout guy. For his career, he has almost a 12 K per nine, and for a starting pitcher, that's absolutely fantastic. But the walks, the home runs, they're definitely a problem. If the Blue Jays can figure it out, get him under control, maybe he learns a little something from Hyun-Jin Ryu, who does neither of those two things. Doesn't give up home runs, doesn't give up walks. You can get a diamond in the rough with Robbie Ray, and for the Blue Jays, who are competing for a playoff, they have that young core around them. They're going to be aggressive in the free agent market. I really like this move in Robbie Ray. It's a smart move. It's a good move. It's going to help build your rotation depth, and it can end up paying big dividends for them in 2021. And then the last and final little bit of information that we want to talk about is Tony La Russa. Talked about him a few days ago when we were talking about all the manager signings and the firings. Well, Tony La Russa apparently was arrested for DUI again back in February of 2020, and the White Sox knew about this and signed him, and it turns out when Tony La Russa got pulled over, he said, "Do you know who I am? I'm a Hall of Famer." I mean, some of the cringiest, most cringeworthy things that you could ever say when you get pulled over. Do you know who I am? I mean, it was just like, it's so bad. The White Sox shouldn't have signed him. Maybe you disagree with me that they should have kept Renteria. Regardless, I think we all agree that they shouldn't have signed Tony La Russa, especially knowing this DUI thing. Yes, people make mistakes, but this is a mistake that's happened multiple times for him, and it just doesn't make sense to bring Tony La Russa in the first place. He's like 76 years old, and the White Sox have such a young team. I don't understand what Jerry Reinsdorf is trying to do. Oh, it's so bad, and I feel like this is going to be a deterrent from people maybe signing with the White Sox this offseason. Do I want to play for Tony La Russa, who apparently is a drunk and drunk drives all the time, and is old, and just seems out of touch? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the White Sox are doing. I really don't. And they just continued to like defend their hiring of him, saying like, oh, we knew about it and it wasn't an issue. I don't think that people who got DUIs shouldn't be allowed to be managers of Major League Baseball teams, but that's a serious thing that happened. It's happened multiple times. It's clearly a problem. It just doesn't make sense why you ever chose him to be your guy. He's been out of baseball for so long. He's so old. You have such a young team. All the Latin stars. It doesn't make sense. But again, I don't really know anything in terms of this. We don't know what's going to happen in 2021. Maybe Tony La Russa becomes the best manager the White Sox ever seen. That's what's yet to be seen. We haven't seen him manage a game for them yet. But everything on paper, the circus that seems to be around him right now, Doesn't seem worth it. Oh, I'm sorry, White Sox fans. Like, that sucks. That sucks you have to deal with this now, because you shouldn't have to. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the news that I wanted to cover in today's video. Marcus Stroman signing with the New York Mets, the Steve Cohen press conference, Robbie Ray to the Blue Jays, and Tony La Russa getting drunk driving arrests. Love to know what you guys think about all that down in the comment section below. Give me your thoughts and opinions. As always, drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, and if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Go sub. What are you waiting for? Click that sub button. Join the team. Drop me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, second channel, and Twitch. Links in the description. It should be streaming tonight, so keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, that's where we're going to wrap up today's video. You guys know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload. Click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for another video.